In a world of oversharing, thy dating life remains sacred. Behold, the new Ashley Madison. The app for discreet dating. No public posts, no feed. Just adults connecting in private. Download Ashley Madison today. Blessed are the discreet.
We have the tech to get food delivered in 15 minutes, but we all have horror stories about buying tickets. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage. Get amazing tickets in just a few taps. Fees are included, so what you see is what you pay. And the Game Time guarantee means authentic tickets at the best price every time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to concerts, sports, comedy, and more with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
If you're not getting great sleep out on the trail, you know you've got to try something else. Mountain Guide Mowser, with 30 years of experience, will help you adjust your sleep system so you stop sleeping like trash. Welcome to the Backpacking and Blisters podcast. With me today is a mountain guide with 35 years of experience, a YouTuber with a massive following, a man who once threw a pack off a cliff. Mowser, how's it going today?
I'm doing really well. How you doing?
I thought you were going to give me pushback on the pack thing.
Oh, I didn't throw it off, but I did watch it go off. I didn't do much about it.
It got dropped off, right?
Yeah.
No, we had that on the last time, and since you were on, we had Darwin on the trail on our show who chucked a trekking pole into the Alaskan wilderness out of like anger rage. He put a $500 bounty on the person that can find that trekking pole. So I thought, you know what, we got to put a bounty on that pack. So where did the pack get dropped again?
It got dropped off a cliff in a place called Mount Anne here in Tasmania, off a peak near Mount Anne called Mount Lot. And it's funny that you mentioned that because only a week ago, someone posted a picture on Facebook of a pack they found in that area, covered in all this undergrowth and moss, stuff like that.
Yeah.
This crazy picture, and it looked like the pack. I got a photo straight away out of that hike and the person with the pack on, and I contacted the person from the hike who lost the pack and another friend who brought the post to my attention and reached out to the people that posted the picture. We're all really excited, like, oh, we found the pack. We're going to go. And
we found the pack, yeah.
And it was still in there. They'd left it there, but they told us where it was. But then after a lot of detective work, we found another model of the same pack and compared it with the photos. And yeah, it didn't look like the same pack. But we were excited for about 4 days until we spoke to the person that found it. And then, when we figured out what was inside the pack there, and it didn't sound like the same pack, but it's inspired me to maybe go back in and have a look for it, make a bit of an adventure. Yeah.
And just to clarify, so you're suggesting that there's an area in Tasmania that has now claimed multiple packs. People are losing their packs there.
The guy who found this pack has been in touch with the search and rescue here, and he told me that search and rescue have found 20 hiking packs this year. Like, who's losing all these packs? 20. I don't know if I believe that.
Are they funding search and rescue by eBaying the items they find in the packs?
You know, it's not like you can just see them. Like, you got to go in and look for these things. And anyway, I've only heard of like one or two people losing a pack. So I don't know what's going on down here, but
you're the only person that's ever shared a story where somebody straight lost a pack. I think I shared last time that we did an episode years ago where somebody was like, you have to have backups of everything because what if your pack goes off a cliff? Yeah. And then I said, I've never heard of anybody losing a pack off a cliff. And then of course you come on the show and share that story. And I was like, all right, I guess it can happen. Yeah. But that's hilarious. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'll put a bounty of a year's supply of Snicker bars if you can find the pack on there. So if you want to reach out to Mowser and ask for more details, you can do that after the fact. But dude, that's hilarious.
Yep. Man, it'd be a mission to go in there. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And you have to go back to Mowser gave some clues on our last episode. You have to go back almost like a year, I think, is the last time you were on. So
yeah.
All right. So I've noticed that like your channel, you give amazing information, you give really good perspective, and anytime you've got a strong opinion about something that I also have a strong opinion about, we're typically in agreement, but you get like right down to business. And so I'm like, you know what? Like, you're not goofing around ever on your channel. You're telling it how it is. So I wanted to get a sense of like the lighter side of Mowser. So what's a comedy movie that you like?
Comedy. Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, Dumb and Dumber is a classic. It's an absolute classic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as you're backpacking, like, are you quoting that ever?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I'm not sure if we can make that pass by today. And then somebody says,
but you're seeing there's a chance.
There it is.
That's a classic.
I got to go to the bathroom really bad.
Just go, man. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's one I use all the time, actually. Just go, man. Like,
is it really? Just go,
you know, if we're going up a little cliff or something, or you got to jump off something, I'll be just like, just go, man.
Now I know what I can reference with you.
Yeah.
Do you use the American accent too?
Oh, yeah, totally. You've got to.
Okay, that's hilarious.
I've even got the suits they wear in Dumb and Dumber. Got a pink suit.
Are you serious?
It's not the same color as theirs, but it's in that same vibe.
That's awesome. Okay. All right. I don't think that's come out on your YouTube channel, so there you go. Learn something new.
No, there you go.
Speaking of that, you've got, so you put out a video that coincides with something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, which is why you sleep like trash in the backcountry, and you being the collective you, and then to the best of our ability, or to the best of your ability, how to fix it. So we're going to dig into that today.
Sounds good.
This episode is brought to you by Enlighten Equipment, the company that can help you sleep better with their ultralight quilts. Check them out at enlightenequipment.com. So it happens to be the Enlighten Equipment podcast. They're not just sponsoring this episode because we're talking about sleep, but you definitely mentioned quilts, so we'll get to that. Before we get into your process, though, in that video, you mentioned something called, I think it's like the Zpacks Pico pump. Is that right?
That's it. Great product.
Like, there's been a rise of the pumps over the last few years, but you've been backpacking for 35 years, or like at least close to that without a pump. So is this a sign that you're getting soft?
A little. I've been using a pump for maybe 8 years, I reckon.
Oh, really?
I saw one by Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe 8 years since Thermarest bought out a little pump. Yeah, it must be 10 years ago they bought that out. And I saw that one day and thought, that'd be nice.
Okay.
You know, because I used to use it in my mouth.
Right.
And then I bought that, and ever since I've just taken a pump on every trip. I just think it just makes things nice.
Okay. In all your years of backpacking and guiding, is that one of your least favorite camp chores, is like inflating your pad then?
Yeah, because, often we're normally two guys in a tent, and it's normally raining, and we're in the middle of off-track Tasmania somewhere, and we're both getting in the tent at the same time, and you got to get your mat up, and sitting there trying to blow it up while you're all wet still and get all your gear off. If I can just attach a pump to it while I get organised and it just inflates, then I've got something to sit on when I get in, it's perfect. I love it. And, we'll share it between the two of us.
Yeah. All right.
And, it makes a big difference to just my mental capacity at the end of a long day, not having to worry about inflating something.
Yeah, that's fair. Mine's the water filtration. Like, once I'm in camp and I'm setting things up, I don't want to, if water's not right next to me, I don't want to go hiking for water. That's annoying to me. So
yeah, we have a whole system there too.
For like making the water the easy button, you have a system for that?
No, we just sort of delegate. So there'll be 3 or 4 of us normally. Someone is like, we get to camp.
Okay.
We're like, right, we're setting up. You're on the water mission today. One person, like, today's your water mission. Right. They take everyone's bladders, go and fill up wherever they've got to go. The rest of us get camp set up, get the mats inflated for them. Like, so they'll go away and fetch the water. They'll come back, got a nice mat inflated, tent set up.
Yeah, you got a system. Beautiful. I think that kind of like implies that the folks that you're going with are at least semi-responsible.
Kinda. Most of the time.
And I could see sending somebody down for like, I'm out of water. I'll take the care of the tent. You get the water. I'm thirsty, but you'll be back here in a few minutes, and then they're gone for like an hour, and who knows where they're going. And so,
yeah, and like, sometimes I'll just say, I'll do the water today because I want to get away from people for a little bit, go and look at the view, fill up water, and and I'll know when I get back that everything's set up. It's beautiful. All
right, fair enough. Okay, I like your system. We're learning. This isn't even what the episode's about. We're getting into this. All right, I like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into the sleeping like trash. And I just want to just make a note. We're going to talk about this at the end, but if you follow everything to a T, that doesn't guarantee you're going to get good sleep. There's other issues that are out of your control, our control, that can cause you to not get good sleep, and we'll address that as well. But so this is putting yourself in the best circumstances to get the best possible sleep. Is that fair to say?
That would be 100% correct.
Okay. Kind of taking through the video that you'd put out there. What's the first part of the process in getting good sleep?
Well, it's deciding on what sort of system you want to go with, I guess.
Okay.
So, I mean, and that's obviously, if you're new to backpacking or hiking, that might be a foreign concept to you. But what I've learned over the years is to build a solid foundation. So I like to start with my sleeping pad. That's something that one of the most crucial parts of my system in terms of comfort. I'm always going to have a warm, sleeping bag or quilt to the conditions. Where I have failed over the years is generally with my sleeping pad, where I've gone, this pad looks awesome, nice and thick and comfy. And then I get out there and I feel cold during the night because the R value wasn't high enough for the condition I was taking. It might have had an R value of 2 or 3, and then all of a sudden I'm feeling cold during the night and I'm not having a good trip. And that's happened to me a couple of times over the years where I've gone and got this pad because it's the latest and greatest thing. I've bought it off Amazon or somewhere like that, and it was a cheap brand that said, I didn't even look at the R value the last time this happened. I remember I didn't even look at it. I just looked at the thickness of this thing and thought, yeah, that looks like the bomb. I'm going for that. And then I was out there
looks comfortable.
Yeah, out there. It was very comfortable. But, the middle of the night when it got really cold, I was shivering. Like I was very cold. Well, I had a quilt on that, and I had to just wrap the whole quilt around me and put a couple of extra layers on to get warm again. I was fine in the end, but I learned my lesson there, I think.
So R value first before the pad thickness, you're saying?
But these days, you're normally pretty safe, although there are a lot of cheaper budget brands out there saying, oh, this is an R value of 6.8 or something like. In reality, I'm finding they're, more like 4. That's something to be aware of too.
Is there any brand that we should be aware of or beware, so to speak, that you feel like is misrepresenting the R value?
I think I've got a nature hike pad, which I love. It says it's 6.8 R value.
Okay.
But it's definitely not. It's definitely not. It's more like 3 to 4. And it's a good pad, and I'm taking it a fair bit on trips, but I'm just taking into account the weather that I'm going into when I'm going. So I might upgrade to a Thermarest Neowear or something if it's going to be a colder, an Xtherm if it's going to be colder.
Yeah. So I think that's a common mistake, is that people are looking at thickness. So they're like, well, if I'm going to sink into the ground or touch the ground, then I'm not going to be comfortable. But it's the warmth that can really suck the life out of your night's sleep. And I think I take that to the extreme where I've gone with friends just car camping, and they'll bring their spouse, and they're like, I want my spouse to be as comfortable as possible. So they'll bring like the queen size air mattress, which has like an R value of 0. And you'd think they're going to be so comfortable, but they had a miserable night because of that.
So we did the same thing on family car camping trips, I'll be 5 years ago now. My wife and I took a big air mattress, thick thing, thinking this will be beautiful. Not only did there was so much air in it that you're bouncing around all over the place. But it's just completely no R value, completely freezing. That only got used a few times. And then we moved to a Zen Bivy double bed, and that is unbelievable.
Yeah, you're not the only one suggesting that for sure. So, all right, so you go R value that kind of matches the conditions or is maybe even warmer than the conditions depending upon what you've got going on. And then thickness, all right? And then can you explain the bag versus quilt dilemma and which one you think is better?
Well, these days I'm firmly in the quilt camp. I used a sleeping bag for nearly 30 years and moved.
Right, so did I.
Yeah, and moved to quilts 5 or 6 years ago. I think I first did that. I started reading about quilts. There's an Australian ultra hiker who does lots of stuff called Cam Honan. He's done every, through hike in the world, and he was using quilts. And that's where I started looking into them and ended up getting one and just loved it because I'd always get so twisted in my sleeping bag back in the day, like completely twisted up all night. When I'd roll over, I'd have to, how you have to sort of move your body weight to shift the sleeping bag around while you're in it to get it comfortable. And once I moved to a quilt, I was just like, this is so much better. And it was a little bit lighter.
Right.
And I just thought, this is where it's at. I'm a quilt guy now.
Okay. So a couple things you mentioned. So first of all, you kind of boil it down to 3 issues people have with quilts, the people that don't like quilts, 3 issues which causes them, like a draft causes them to get cold. And you kind of were able to point out what the problems were and how to fix them. So can you break that down for us?
Yeah, so the biggest problem I had with quilts was, again, I'm tossing and turning a lot during the night when I'm sleeping. So whenever I'd roll over, sometimes you just get the base of the quilt where you've got the gap rise up, even though you had it strapped to your sleeping pad, a lot of the strap systems still allow for the quilt edge to lift up, and then you get these drafts of cold air in. So I'd wake up in the night and, I like to go pretty raw when I'm in my quilt. I'm not wearing too much. So I'll get that cold air come in and just up my back, and I'll just be like chilly, waking up, get comfortable again, seal up the little inlet of air, and then get the same thing happen an hour later. So that used to frustrate me a bit. So I'd end up putting on a layer of clothing, then going back to sleep and doing that pretty regularly.
Okay.
Then Zen Bivy actually reached out a couple of years ago and said, do you want to try one of our quilts out? And I said, yeah, I actually was looking at buying a Zen Bivy because they just look amazing. And then gave one of them a try, ended up buying a second one. So I had a winter one and a summer one. I haven't looked back ever since. I've been using that ever since with their full sheet system. So the sheet goes over my pad, attaches to the quilt, and just seals out. There's no chance of draft getting in with that thing. They've got, it's incredible. It's like having a bed when you're out in the wilderness. Love it.
Yeah, which is what they call it, right? It's like the Zen Bivy bed, right?
Yeah.
So, and you're talking through like how the insulation works and how on a sleeping bag, if the insulation's on the bottom of the bag and it's just getting compressed against the pad or the ground, it's not really doing anything for you.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, this isn't like a new thought. This has been known for years. So why are they still putting the insulation on the bottom part of the bag? Is it because of the roll around effect, or do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I reckon so in a sleeping bag, 100% proven system. Like there's no gaps in there. So there is absolutely no draft going to get in at all. So you're in a completely sealed system. Even on a Zen Bivy bed,
right?
It's attached to a sheet. There's still potential that you could get some airflow in there. And I was thinking about this. Like, I don't know if I'd use a Zen Bivy in the Himalaya or somewhere like that. I'd probably still take a hardcore sleeping bag. So I've got a closed system. So there's no chance of any air getting in. So that would be, the main reason people, still widely use sleeping bags. But, when you're like sort of us, just, out in the backcountry on a weekend hike, something like that, on a 10-day hike even, a bed system will do the trick, 99% of the time, I think.
Yeah. I guess I just don't know why they're still making bags that way, where they're putting the insulation, they're investing some weight in insulation in the bottom of the bag if it's kind of like if you're laying on it, I guess. Like that, to me, that seems like a waste.
Even if you made that closed system still and basically had not much in the bottom bit and had that, don't know. But that's a good question. Actually, I know some guys in the industry. I will ask them at some point when I talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not afraid to ask those questions for sure.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, okay, so your system is good unless, he gave a caveat, unless you're going to the Himalayas, folks. So you may want to dial in a more of a sleeping bag type system for those that are headed off that way.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that today. And like, are people using quilt systems at altitude?
I don't know. Like I don't know if you get a lot of the inside the tent shots when you see those Everest, documentaries. So you move from that. So you got your pad, you got your bag / quilt. And then you mentioned the third critical part to an effective sleep system, which is the pillow. And you made this reference that don't just keep stuff and clothes in a bag like a stuff sack or in the top part of your hood of your sleeping bag as a pillow. Like, are people still doing this, you think?
I know people that still do that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I reckon there's a guy here in Tasmania at the moment who's done this epic 1-month-long trip off track, completely hardcore, pack rafting, rock climbing, wow. And I reckon he would be stuffing clothes in a stuff sack because he just wouldn't be able to have the weight. He's had to cut weight everywhere. So
yeah, if he's bringing rock climbing gear and pack rafting gear.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Okay. Yeah, so which pillow best replicates our home experience? What do you think?
So I always used to take an inflatable pillow, like a Cedar Summit, their inflatable pillow. But I'm very fussy with my pillows. Like even at home, I find it very hard to find the perfect pillow. Then I discovered down pillow toppers to put over my inflatable pillow, and that has made all the difference. They have been really good. So a small, like an inflatable, which I slightly deflate, and then a down pillow topper, and then that all goes in my little pillowcase. And again, Zen Bivy, the one they make, I tend to use on every trip now. Yeah, I haven't used another pillow for a couple of years because it's all contained within their little pillow slip. You've got the inflatable, then the down pillow topper on top, and then it attaches to my quilt with the little toggles as well. It doesn't move during the night, and it's super comfy.
So there you go. And I've been using an oversized one I found on Amazon by Trekology.
Yep.
That
Got
is
that one.
inflatable and it doesn't have the down topper on it, but it is just massive. So I can like grab it like I normally grab my pillow at home and kind of, curl my arm around it. So
Yeah, that one's good. It's got a good strap on it too, yeah.
So yeah, and I know a lot of people use the strap because a lot of people are losing their pillows at night. I don't have that problem 'cause I'm like grabbing it as I'm sleeping, but
Yeah.
I know that is a problem for some folks. So that system will keep you warm and comfortable. It's still not going to feel like your bed at home, but that's going to keep you warm and comfortable at night. So what are some of the unsolvable problems that are preventing us from getting sleep?
Well, if you're sharing a tent with someone, like a buddy, that can definitely lead to troubles. I won't name names, but I've got a couple of friends who snore a bit. So if you're in a tent with one of those guys, that can be a challenge, especially when you're out for 8, 9, 10 days.
Right.
That's no good.
I don't think a lot of folks are sharing tents. Like I definitely do, but I think a lot of folks are bringing the solo tents these days. Is that what you're finding down?
Yeah, they are now. We've started to do that a little, although a recent trip we took a Ultramid Hot by Hyperlight tent and we had 3 of us in that one. That was cozy, but it was good. But we just do it more to save weight. But on other trips, longer trips, we're tending to start to go solo too.
Now, do you bring earplugs then when you have those guys with you?
I don't, but I got friends that do. It's not something I've done.
Okay.
I've struggled to sleep with. I'm very fussy with my pillows and my ears on there, and so earplugs don't really work for me. I just sort of sleep through it, I guess. I don't have too much trouble with it. Then the other one's weather.
All right.
So I remember one trip I really struggled to sleep at night because we're in this pretty crazy range here in Tasmania, and everyone had exited the range. We decided to continue on, and it was just wild weather. So, I was up during the night checking the tent, re-guying it out. Like, it was super crazy wind. So that doesn't help with your sleep either. And also just thinking about what's coming the next day with the bad weather when you've got some pretty steep climbs and descents, that doesn't help.
Okay.
The mental thing doesn't help either.
The anxiety of the next day, especially the next day, whether it's, impact from weather or it's just going to be a big day, then you might have that in your mind too. Okay. The number one thing that I found that has prevented folks from getting sleep is the fear of unknown sounds. And just the rustling in the bushes or whatever, like, there could be a squirrel around and now it sounds like a bear. And people just get freaked out. I went backpacking with somebody who, I don't even know why they went. They were so stinking freaked out. They thought that at any moment a mountain lion was going to plow through the tent. And so they just were, they were just awake the whole night. They didn't get a wink of sleep. And so it doesn't matter how comfortable, how warm they are in their bed setup. Like, they're just not going to sleep.
I mean, I haven't hiked in North America. Hope to very soon. But that would freak me out. Like, bears wandering around and mountain lions. Like, come on. Like, how am I going to sleep with that?
I did wake up one time to hear a bear sniffing at my head like he was just outside my tent. But, yeah. And what's funny about that is that the person that was in my tent was a backpacking guide. And so this person should have known better, but we woke up the next day and, we were in Yosemite. And so you're supposed to store your food in a bear canister. And we found a bag of yogurt-covered raisins in the backpack inside the tent. And so that's what the bear was smelling. And so,
no.
And bear didn't come through the tent, though. We survived, obviously. But
and that's all I'd be thinking about hiking there, personally.
Is the bear stuff? Yeah. Maybe that's why you want to have people in your tent, then. You want to have the protection. You can be in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we got snakes, but bears, we've got snakes here. Bears are like another level. Like,
they're next level, yeah. Do you, with the snakes, is it, I would imagine that anytime, if you're sharing a tent, anytime you're going in and out of the tent, especially if you set it up and then you go and have dinner or something, you make a point of zipping up all the zippers. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
Because I would imagine, like, you do not want a snake slithering in there when you're not aware.
No, and they wouldn't do it, but I have heard of it happening. So
I've heard of it too. Yeah.
It's not something you want to go to bed and find in your.
No, I slept in an area that was that was known for snakes, and I was sharing a tent. I was like, hey, buddy, you gotta zip this thing up. And I woke up the next day, and we didn't have a snake in our tent, but he left the zipper wide enough for any snake to get through. I was not happy about that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that we freaked folks out, now we gave them advice for how to get good sleep, and then now we're making them worried about how that could go south. But
that's it. I can go to bed thinking about that stuff.
That's right. All right. Well, hopefully there was at least a tip or two in there to help you get better sleep, because that is one of the biggest challenges for backpacking. Thank you for those tips and tricks. Appreciate that. Last time you were on a show, we put you through the lightning round, so I don't want to have you do that again. So I got trivia for you this time.
Yep.
Sleeping trivia coming up right after this.
Awesome.
Let's be honest. If you're still bringing a beat-up cardboard sign to the summit, it's time for an upgrade to your gear list with something that's probably missing. Summit Something makes ultralight, packable summit flags designed for hikers and climbers who want to capture the moment and keep it forever. These summit flags feature clean, iconic designs of the peaks you've climbed, so your summit photos actually look as epic as the experience you felt. And when you get home, it's not trash, it's a keepsake. Something you hang on your wall and remember, I did that. If you got a big climb coming up or just knocked one off your list, grab your summit flag at summitsomething.com. If you're looking for a sign, this is it.
Ashley Madison was built for discretion. It's not for everyone. It's for people who don't want a spotlight, who don't need validation, who don't want their curiosity turned into content. A place designed for privacy and choice, where connections happen quietly and always on your terms. Because some things are better when no one else is watching. Where desire meets discretion. Ashley Madison. Download the app now or visit ashleymadison.com/iHeartMedia.
I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
No, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.
All right. Trivia is brought to you by Magnet Designs. Handmade to order in Bend, Oregon, Magnet Designs gives you the most vetted backpacking products with the smallest environmental footprint. Through hiker design, tested, built, and owned. Check out the Alpha 90 hoodie using PolarTec Alpha Direct fabric. It's ultralight, compressible, hydrophobic, breathable, quick drying, and just 4.5 ounces. And it's coming on my next Yosemite adventure. Google Magnet Designs for the best backpacking gear. All right, I got 3 questions for you. Sleeping trivia. It's been a while since I've asked trivia questions to a guest, but our typical method is you got to get 2 out of 3 to pass, and these are all multiple choice.
I'm nervous.
Are you nervous? Okay, well.
Yeah, a little bit.
You've been backpacking longer. I've been going for 30 years. You're at 35, so I feel like these should be easy for you. All right,
okay.
Number 1. What does the R in R value stand for? Is it A, resistance to heat flow, B, ready to insulate, or C, real heat distribution?
I'm going to take resistance to heat flow.
Okay, are you guessing or do you know this one?
Pretty sure. Was there only the 3 options?
Yeah, that is correct. I wouldn't have gotten this one right had you asked me. I had to research this one because, yeah, I'm not a technical kind of guy. So well done. Number 2, what is the best place to take an uninterrupted trail nap? A, near a junction, B, by a lake, C, near a spur trail to a scenic outlook.
I've got to say, by a lake for sure, every time.
Okay, that is also, you already passed trivia. 2 for 2, because
yes.
the other spots are going to be crowded. People might interrupt you. They might even wake you up and ask you are you okay? In which case that wrecks your nap, of course. So do you do a lot of trail naps?
Not really. I'm not a daytime nap guy. I like,
Okay.
I struggle to sleep during the day. I need to be doing stuff. Very active.
I'm with you too, but this is they do this a lot. It's common in backpacking, but I don't. Yeah, I'm with you. Last time I took one, I think I couldn't sleep that night, so I was like, that's not a good strategy. So there's another sleeping tip right there. Don't take the nap.
Yeah.
All right, last one. After going to bed, what is the number one reason a backpacker gets out of their tent before sunrise? A, to scare off an animal, B, to store something they forgot to store, or C, to go potty?
I'm going to go all 3.
Is the most common? You get out of your tent a lot.
The most?
We're talking about guy lines and battening down the hatches and all sorts of stuff.
The most? I mean, go potty.
That is correct, especially as you get older, right?
Yeah, oh, tell me about it. If I can make 6 a.m., I'm happy.
That's right. That's right. All right, we got a couple tidbits. First thing is, for those interested, we got our monthly Bible study still going. That's going to go into the summer as a weekly Bible study. So please reach out. I've got my email in the show description. You can reach out, and if you're interested in joining us, all are welcome. And then, Mowser, can you tell us a couple things? First of all, what's coming up on your YouTube channel? And then you're also soon to be releasing an app that you helped design. What's going on with those two things?
Yeah, so coming up the channel, well, we've got some gear testing coming up in the next few months, and really like a new release of gear by a brand that hasn't done this type of gear before. So I'm really excited about that, testing it over the next few months. So that's going to be coming, by May, June.
Okay, is that a secret brand?
Yeah, it is at the moment. It's very secret.
Okay.
Gear is in transit to me, and then I'm thinking of doing a couple little missions with that to really put it through the ringer and see how it goes. So I'm excited about that. So that's what's coming up on the channel. Then, we've got an app coming out very soon. We actually have just launched the wait list. So myself with, it was a subscriber that reached out to me who's a developer. He's actually from Colorado, and we've been working together to build an app built around my framework that I have in my multi-day hiking blueprint course called the Trails Framework. And that has just gone live, the wait list. It's your full planning app that allows you to plan your entire hike, including, maps, your itinerary, your meals, your gear, absolutely everything. So you're in the one place organizing your hike. You're not doing spreadsheets. You're not doing Word documents. You're not got your GPX files in another app. It's all in the one app, in the one place, and you can share it with your group that's going on the hike with you as well, and you can all put your own feedback and input into it as well. So, yeah, that's launching soon. It's called peakbound.app.
And just to clarify, so are you loading the GPX file into the app, or does the app also allow you to create the GPX file?
Yeah, no, you can create it in there as well, or you can import one. Yeah.
You make your route. Then part of the app is like add whatever details, the itinerary, special gear requirements, gear list, all that stuff. You can put it all in one spot.
Can be all there. So basically you could look through, and you might share your itinerary with your wife before you go, and she can go and click on the link to your GPX, see where you're going, can look at the gear you've taken. So, from a safety perspective, search and rescue could say, oh, this is their whole profile for the trip. We've got all the information. We've got the GPX file. Let's go find this person, that as well. So, and planning with your group, everyone can access the files. Everyone can, it makes planning a lot easier too.
All in one spot. So we'll have a link to that app in our show description. And I think it'll be on the waitlist for a little bit longer, maybe another month or so by the time this episode's out. And then it'll go live for our summer up here in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah, and when we launch it, we're going to have a lifetime deal, so you can sign up once and you'll pay an amount, and that'll get you lifetime access to it. So that'll be the first so many subscribers.
Yeah, and one of the knocks on like these navigation apps that are already out there that are kind of competing, like you have the Onyx and the Gaias and the Far Outs and all that stuff, is that each of them seems to do one thing well, but none of them sort of do all of that stuff well. So you're trying to kind of bring it all together. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll have, a lot of the functionality of those, but hopefully be, a bit better organized, and you can just have all your stuff in there from every trip, have a central sort of database for it. And, when you go on your next trip, you can access stuff from your past trip if you want it, bits and pieces from your past trip, copy your gear list, copy your GPX file, or use the same GPX file. Yeah.
Okay. You might have sold me on this one. All right. I'm highly interested in this. All right. Very excited. I put my own name on the wait list. So awesome. All right. We got some exciting things coming out for sure.
Awesome.
All right. Mowser, it's been an honor, a pleasure to hang out with you on the podcast. Thanks for joining the show.
Yeah. Good to be here. Thank you so much for having me again. All
right. And remember, folks, another name for a sleeping bag is a knapsack. Have a good week and God bless.
In a world of oversharing, thy dating life remains sacred. Behold, the new Ashley Madison. the app for discreet dating. No public posts, no feed. Just adults connecting in private. Download Ashley Madison today. Blessed are the discreet.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.